welcome to this course of Econometrics. I'm Dr. Meenal and you're watching Meenal ka channel. In this video, I will let you know basically what is econometrics and what does an econometric analysis mean and what are the different steps that are involved in this econometric analysis. Econometrics is basically an application of mathematical and statistical tools with an objective to measure the empirical validity of economic theory. This course is going to be very interesting for you because in this course you will not only learn the theoretical steps related to this particular subject but also going to learn the computer application of econometrics, and that means how several econometric models can be estimated using statistical software and how to interpret the results after running a model. Write down in comment section, please pause the video and write down in comment section that which software you would like to learn, SPSS, Stata or R, so that I can choose one. So before we discuss in detail about what are the different type of econometric models and all, let's try to first understand what exactly econometrics is and what is the meaning and definition of econometrics. There are several definitions available in the literature, but the best possible way to know the definition of econometrics is just to decompose this word into two components. So, econometrics is basically a summation of two components, econo and metrics. So, econo is basically stands for economics, and metrics stands for measurement of economics. Matrix stands for measurement. So if I sum it up, so that means econometrics basically indicates the measurement of economics. Uh, Basically, we are going to use the econometric tools to measure the empirical validity of economic theory. Okay, let me ask you one question. If you look at the definition, what is your opinion? Is econometrics is a science or is it a art? Please write down in comment section. So, uh, moving ahead to the next step, let's try to understand how does it is different from mathematics and statistics. Econometrics is basically the application of mathematical and statistical tools, but econometrics is neither mathematics nor statistics. Econometrics is a distinct subject which is distinct from mathematics as well as statistics. Now, if I give a small example, then things would be much clearer to you. What is mathematical economics? Generally, we may think of econometrics as mathematical economics, right? But actually, econometrics is not mathematical economics because the objective of mathematical economics is to represent economic theory using a mathematical model using equations. For example, we all know the economic theory of Keynesian consumption function, which says that as income increases, consumption also increases, but less than proportionately. Uh, so, if you represent that particular economic theory using a mathematical equation, then it will look like y is equals to alpha plus beta xi, where y is consumption and x indicates the income. When I say that as income increases, consumption also increases, but less than proportionately, how will you specify? How will you specify that how much consumption will increase? You have to put a restriction on this parameter beta. So beta is basically less than 1 but greater than 0. So I have included one error term here that should not be there. So uh, my model is basically yi is equals to alpha plus beta xi plus mu I, where I indicates the individual. So yi indicates the individual I's consumption, maybe weekly, monthly, or yearly, and xi indicates correspondingly weekly, monthly, or yearly income. And then the restriction I have imposed on beta is greater than 0 but less than 1. So job of mathematical economist is done here only. Mathematical economist will never go to check the empirical validity of this economic theory. So this is called the mathematical economics, representing economic theory using mathematical models and equations. Then what is statistics? Uh, what is the job of a statistician? After collecting data on consumption and income, statistician will process the data and then will present the data using some charts and tables, but statisticians will never use this data to check the empirical validity of economic theory. Someone who does that is actually the econometrician. So that means the job of an econometrician is quite different from that of a statistician or a mathematician. Mathematician will build the model using mathematical equations, and statistician will collect the data on income and consumption. That is raw data collected by statistician, and statistician will represent the data using some tables or charts or diagrams. And econometrician will use that mathematical model and data collected by statistician and then try to analyze the data to keep empirical validity of economic theory. That is why the complete definition of econometrics says that econometrics is the science and art of using economic data to measure the empirical validity of economic theory by applying mathematical and statistical tools. This is the complete definition. One more important thing is it should be clear to you that application of econometrics is much wider in today's world, and it is not only confined to the domain of macroeconomics like GDP forecasting, forecasting about inflation, how much money supply the central banks should make, etc. Rather, you can answer any type of queries that you might have in your mind by applying the econometric tools. For example, does higher income lead to higher consumption? Does small class result in better learning? Does profitability of a firm determines the return to its stock? Does higher economic growth result in improved environmental quality? Or is arranged marriage is more stable than love marriage? I can explain this. You might be thinking that where is economics in marriage? Okay, now getting married itself is an economic decision making, because economics define marriage as nothing but a mutually beneficial trade or a mutually beneficial contract and stability. Basically, whether the marriage contract will be stable or not depend on whether both the parties involved in the contract are mutually benefited or not. At any point of time, if the benefit of that marriage contract is disturbed towards one person, then there is a high chance of breaking up that contract, and which means divorce. So we may hypothesize that arranged marriages or love marriages, vice versa, whether what type of marriage is more stable. So that means the research question that comes to our mind is analyzing type of marriage with its stability. Even that analysis can also be done using econometric tools. Then the next question that we are trying to answer is the objective of an econometric analysis. So there are three broad objectives of econometric analysis. We will discuss these objectives in detail in the next video. And after discussing these objectives, the different difference between mathematics, statistics, and econometrics will be much more clear to you. So stay tuned and keep watching Meenal ka channel. Bye.